Mike Pachelli here. Thanks for tuning in. For this lesson, I'll be talking about the Beatles' recording of Every Little Thing that they did in September of 1964. This song has more controversy on who wrote what, when, where, and who played what, when, where than any other Beatles song that I've covered. But back in 1964, McCartney did say that he and Lennon wrote it in Atlantic City in August of 1964, and it was probably inspired by Paul's relationship with his then-girlfriend Jane Asher. But there's different versions of where it was written that came out, 30 years after the fact. But Paul is on record saying, "Every Little Thing, like most of the stuff I did, was my attempt at the next single. I remember playing it for Brian backstage somewhere. It was one of those meetings, we have to do some recordings, who's got what? And we played a few at Brian. I played it amongst a few songs. It was something I thought was quite good, but it became an album filler rather than the great almighty single. It didn't have quite what was required." The Beatles were at EMI Studio 2 on September 29, 64. They tried 4 takes of the song, but none of them are a keeper. Next day, they're back in the studio, and they try it again, with the instrumentation being John Lennon on a Rickenbacker 325-12, George Harrison playing acoustic guitar on the J160E, Paul on bass, Ringo on drums, and John and Paul were singing in unison and blending quite well. They determined that take 9 is the best, and then they do overdubs. Now, at the beginning of the song, John couldn't quite sing and get the lead guitar right, so they were tapping a little tap tempo at the beginning of the song so John could do his overdub, and he did that. Ringo overdubbed some timpani, Paul overdubbed piano, and a few extra bass notes. Fun facts to know and tell. The 325-12 that John Lennon had Rickenbacker make for him couldn't stay in tune, as is quite evident on the track, so he actually sent that guitar back to the factory because he was completely disappointed with the 325-12. The song was mixed on October 27th by Norman Smith and Ken Scott, and it was released in Britain on December 1964 on an album called Beatles for Sale, and in the USA in June 1965 on an album called Beatles 6. So that's the backstory. Let's get started. More proof that it's George Harrison playing the acoustic guitar rhythm part on Every Little Thing is that the part is very strict and repetitive. And I believe if John would have done it, it would have been more improvisational and he would have mixed the part up quite a bit more. Nevertheless, to play the song, you'll need these chords: an A, a D, an E. You'll need 2 Gs, this one, and a bar G. You'll need a B minor and a D over A. And those are all the chords you'll need to play the song. Verse 1 and 2 are identical. The rhythms is identical, and it starts on basically the 3rd measure where the singing begins. So I'll play a verse. 2, 3, 4. And then he would continue to verse 2, playing that exact same rhythm. Chorus changes a little bit, and the chorus is going to go from A down to G, and it sounds like this: 3, 4. Now in verse 3 and 4, there's one change. There's an anticipation of that D on the and of 4 of the first measure, unlike verse 1 and 2. So that sounds like this: 3, 4. Like I said, verse 4, exactly the same. Chorus 2 is exactly the same as chorus 1, so I won't bother you with that. Then on the rhythm solo, there's a slight mistake in that he doesn't play a D on the first measure, first beat of measure 2. He stays on A for one beat, and then he goes to the E. So, and there's a little 16th note at the end. Here's the solo rhythm. I'll play it slower for you because it's a little different. Solo rhythm is like this. 3, 4. See that? And I guess up to speed, the solo rhythm would be 3, 4. Chorus 3, nothing different from any of the choruses. Maybe just one quarter note on the first measure would be like, and then back into just pounding on the G and continue on. And then on the outro, he's anticipating that D again on the first measure beat, the end of 4. I'll play the outro. Sounds like this. 3, 4. Charts and tabs at MikePachelli.com. I'll make it clearer than I could say it or play it, but that's the acoustic guitar part on Every Little Thing. John Lennon is playing his Rickenbacker 325-12 on Every Little Thing, and those of you with better than average ears can totally hear that the 325-12 has a completely different sound than the 360-12 Rickenbacker. This is a Harley Benton, and I'm going through a Marshall JTM 45, just turned on very, very lowly so it's clean. And if you were to ask me, hey Mike, if you could just have one amplifier, what would it be? It would be a Marshall JTM 45. Okay, so the lead part is very simple. Think of it like this. Think of it in 3 chords, actually 2 chords, two different voicings. I'll show you. An A chord, but just thinking about the third of the chord and the fifth, and then an open E. So that's the A to a G to an A down here. And the only thing difference is he suspends that first A to the A down here. Right. And I recommend playing this A chord, although it's a little awkward, making your second finger on the second fret of the G string and your first finger on the second fret of the B string so you can slide into the G and get it clean. And just let that top E ring out. If you don't have a 12 string, you could probably just use a chorus pedal on your 6 string and get it close enough. And then he doesn't play during the verse at all, but he plays on the chorus, and he does a couple triads like this. He goes up to this A triad here, then slides down to a G triad. And when he gets to the G, he just does a little arpeggiating on the top 2 strings. So in time, it's like this, 3, 4. And that's all that part is. Doesn't play on the 3rd and the 4th verse. Back to the chorus, just about the same thing. I'll go just play the second chorus. It's like this, 3, 4. Then comes the solo. And again, all these are overdubbed, so he had plenty of time to get it right. You play the first phrase exactly like the intro of the solo. And the second time, it's a little different. Since the chords go to G and D, he plays very slowly. I'll show you that even slower. And then some chord note triplets. He goes. So the whole solo, real slow, is like this. 3, 4, 1. Chorus 3, exactly, I think it's exactly like one note difference. Chorus 3, 2, 3, 4. Now right here he plays very softly. You can hear he's gonna just plays like that on that fifth measure of the third chorus. 2. Like that. Charts and tabs will make it clearer than I can play it or say it, of course. And then in the outro, you just play the same riff that he played at the beginning. And that's it for the fade. So those are all the parts you need to play the 12 string, just like John Lennon on Every Little Thing. I have put it together in a sound alike so you can see how all the parts fit together, so please have a look at this.
When I'm walking beside her, people tell me I'm lucky. Yes, I know I'm a lucky guy. I remember the first time I was lonely without her. Can't stop thinking about her now. Every little thing she does for me, yeah. And you know the things she does for me. Ooh, when I'm with her I'm happy, just to know that she loves me. Yes, I know that she loves me now. There is one thing I'm sure of, I will love her forever, for I know love will never die. Every little thing she does for me, yeah. And you know the things she does for me. Ooh. Every little thing she does for me, yeah. And you know the things she does for me. Ooh. Every little thing, every little thing, every little thing.
Well, there we see some wonderful simplicity in a Beatles recording, in that it's just an acoustic guitar, a little embellishment on a 12 string, and some great vocals on a nice melody line. So take heed when you write your own songs. You don't need that much instrumentation to really, create a great song. I suggest you download the charts and tabs at MikePachelli.com, learn the parts, play along with my sound alike, and you'll get it just like the Beatles. And I really appreciate your consideration in supporting my work that way. So have fun playing this great old song, and until next time, I'm Mike Pachelli. Thanks for hanging out with me.